But before I read the scripture, I want to give you and read you a letter that I just got. Beautiful letter. I'm not going to say the name. This is your envelope. If you're watching me, thank you. Let me read it. Dear Benjamin. I love when people call me Benjamin. Forget that pastor, minister. I love when you say just Benjamin, brother. Very interesting, you're tracing your spiritual heritage from Fernando Stahl, the guy who came from Peru. From Michigan to Peru to give the Seventh-day Adventist message to me, eventually. Have you ever been to the Stahl Center at La Sierra University? Yes, I have. With Dr. Teal. He passed away already. Great man. I've been there. I've seen it. I love it. The letter continues. I'm so excited that you find so many reasons every day to be happy. I do. I'm not a pessimist. I always like to see the cup half full, not half empty, half full, full of water. It's encouraging. It's encouraging for me too, to get your letter. In other words, I'm encouraging you, but you're encouraging me 10 times more with a letter. And it's not the only letter. I get this at the church, in my office, in the house. Wonderful. Man. I like your story about the gentleman, now I can't remember the name, who insisted to come to his apartment recently. The man in the wheelchair who gave you $10,000 for the church. His name is David. You baptized him. Yes, I did. But I can't remember his name. His name is David. He lives 2 blocks or 3 blocks away from the Palmdale Seventh-day Adventist Church. And by the way, that's not the only guy. A lot of people below the poverty, a lot of people in Social Security give thousands and thousands of dollars for the church. They want to build a new church building at Acton. They're good people. It's not the wealthy church. There is no wealthy church. It's faithful church. Oh, there's a poor church. There is no poor church. Sometimes it's unfaithful church. Anyway, greet Jay, that's my wife. For me, she's there. You're a joy in my life. Thank you. I'm not going to say your name. I'm just going to show you the letter. I'm going to say you thank you. And I'll say it in Spanish because you speak Spanish. Un abrazo. Un abrazo porteño. May God bless you. Now let's go to the Bible. John 19:5. So Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, and Pilate said to them, Behold the man. Behold the man. The Jewish leaders didn't follow Jesus into Pilate's home over concerns about religious purity. They didn't want religious purity. Talk about breaking the law. They're killing someone breaking the law. They killed a woman caught in adultery. They didn't ask for permission from the Romans when they were stoning to death. They killed Stephen without permission. That's hypocrisy to say we need permission from the Romans to kill Stephen. Saul of Tarsus killed Stephen. He was a murderer, just like Moses, just like David. 3 murderers were the authors of the Bible. That's why I believe in grace. I preach grace. Anyway, going back to the behold a man. When Jesus was first taken in, he had been punched, he had been slapped for no reason, but not severely beaten. The next time he's been seen by the crowd, it's a horrific image. Jesus now has been scourged, flogged with a vicious whip, braided with weights and nails, metal nails that left deep gashes. He's been taunted, he's been bullied by the soldiers, dressed in a mocking version of a crown, dressed in a mocking version of a robe of royalty. Pilate's words here are something like the English phrase, look at this. The punishment is already severe. Jesus has been savagely, by savages, beaten. Some victims of scourging never survived in the past, and openly degraded by the Romans. Pilate is not assigning any guilt to Jesus. He knows he's not guilty. He's hoping that the crowd will be satisfied with what's happened so far. Much to Pilate's surprise, the crowd is not merely hostile. They are hateful. They will demand Jesus' face, not just whipping, not just death, but the vilest of all punishments on the land, crucifixion. Pilate will be taken aback at this level of spite and continue to look for ways to avoid diving into the mob's demands. Eventually, however, he will give in and have an innocent, abused man condemned, giving him a sense of guilt, remorse, and suicidal thoughts. According to tradition, at the end of his life, he committed suicide because he couldn't take it any longer. He couldn't take it anymore. I finish with a story. Pilate says to Jesus, "What is truth?" After Pilate says this, he goes out again to the Jews and he says, "I do not find him guilty. But every year a man who is in prison is allowed to go free. At this special religious gathering to remember how the Jews left Egypt, the Passover. Do you want the King of the Jews to go free?" Then they speak with a loud voice, "Not this man, but Barabbas." Now Barabbas was a robber. Then Pilate takes Jesus and has him beaten. And the soldiers put a crown of thorns on his head. They put a purple coat on him. And they say, "Hello, hail, behold, King of the Jews," and hit him with their hands. Pilate goes out again and says, "People, see, I bring him out to you, so you will know that I do not find him guilty of anything. He is innocent." Jesus came out. He had on the crown on his head of thorns and a purple coat. Pilate says to the people, "Behold the man." I have nothing else to add. May the Lord add a blessing to this story in your life, and I will see you tomorrow.
So